This mysterious stone door hides a secret. All you have to do is shout 3 times, and it will open and close by itself. Only one person can enter each time. What's even more magical is that behind the door is another dimension. Stepping inside is like returning to ancient times. This is the secret of the canyon, guarded by the people on the mountaintop. I also entered this strange cave. Inside there is a long path that was carved out by hand. When I reached the end, it suddenly lit up. Opposite me was another stone wall, with a huge claw mark on it. It looked much larger than a human hand. To the right there was an even bigger footprint, almost as tall as a person. The guide also told us that there was originally a 7-meter-tall giant skeleton here, but the skull was missing. I wonder if it belonged to an ancient giant. The skeleton is now in the museum down the mountain. It was discovered by a few tourists. This canyon is connected to a large river. There is a cave by the river, and there is a wooden boat in the cave. The skeleton was originally placed on the wooden boat. I was very shocked by the guide's words, and with the hand and footprints, it felt even more incredible. Then we continued deeper inside. All around were cliffs and high mountains. As we walked, we suddenly saw a huge rock. Its shape actually resembled the head of a giant python. There were quite a few patterns like scales on it, and you could even clearly see the eyes. When the guide saw it, he quickly knelt down and worshipped, saying this was an ancient dragon snake. This was its territory, so we must be polite. After hearing that, I also quickly bowed. Then I followed the guide. All along the way there were stone pillars, winding and curving, like a coiled python. They were 4 or 5 meters high. The guide said this was the real Dragon Snake Valley. The whole canyon is surrounded by these python-like stone pillars. It must be several kilometers long. It is also a sacred place in the eyes of the mountaintop villagers. On the mountaintop, you can often see piles of stones with scale-like patterns, piled up like many giant pythons entangled together. The great river also holds a secret. So I followed the guide to the river. Look quickly, the guide pointed in one direction. I looked that way and saw many shrimp-like things swimming in the water. They were quite large and had antennae. The guide said these were called snake lobsters. Each one was over a meter long, and they have existed since ancient times. But they can only live in fresh water. They can't go to the sea, and the bottom of this river is extremely deep. Maybe there are other unseen creatures hiding below. Coming here truly feels like traveling through time to the ancient era. Oh, by the way, there's also a rock by the river that looks like a sitting giant. I looked closely, and it really did look like one. This place is simply an undeveloped secret realm. The guide said that humanity knows too little about Earth. After all, human history is only a few million years old. But these strange phenomena have been around for hundreds of millions of years. There's also a legend here. It is said that in ancient times, giant pythons could turn into flood dragons jawlong, but they needed a chance to cross the dragon gate. However, some giant pythons were too impatient and tried before the time was ripe. As a result, they were caught by the shrimp soldiers and crab generals and locked up in this place, guarded by them. Later, these giant pythons slowly fell asleep and eventually turned into the rocks we see now. Of course, this is just a legend. In reality, these rocks were formed by long-term weathering from wind and rain. After coming out, I followed the guide to the mountaintop village. The village also looked very ancient. There was a huge stone statue at the entrance of the village. The villagers smiled and looked at me. They said there were many ancient relics in the village. There's a stone tablet engraved with ancient dragon patterns, and some texts recording events from ancient times. Even the houses in the village are old buildings. The villagers also said that a few years ago, a strange bone was dug up in the mountains, several meters long. Many people were consulted, but no one knew what it was. Later, it was protected. Perhaps in ancient times, many large creatures lived in this area. After all, there are still many large footprints in the mountains to prove it. They also dug up many small bronze tripods with ancient script on the top, but no one recognizes these characters. In addition, in the cave, some small stones with footprints were also found. There's another strange phenomenon. The mountain peaks here look as if they have been repaired. The sides of the cliff are flat and smooth, as if polished with a grinding machine. Later, I went to see it too, and it was exactly as the villagers said. This place is truly full of wonders everywhere. I also asked the villagers how the mysterious stone door was built. They said they didn't know either. The stone door has been around for a long time. You can open it by shouting 3 times. Perhaps the people with those giant footprints are the true masters here? Afterward, we followed the villagers to the altar behind the village. On the altar was a dark, square stone, covered with spiral symbols. These are the dragon worship patterns passed down by their ancestors. An old man used his thin, dry fingers to touch the indented patterns and said, "Every festival, we use newly brewed rice wine to draw these patterns on the stone." The old man also mumbled about the skeleton that was dug up before. He was sure it wasn't an ordinary animals. He said the secrets here were probably given to their ancestors by advanced life forms. Even the stone-making technology might have been brought by these advanced life forms. The stone door is the only way in and out. As for those flat and smooth cliffs, they were deliberately built to prevent people from going down and destroying what was inside. The old man's words immediately reminded me of a scene from a foreign movie. Asterisk the fifth element. Asterisk. Aliens entrusted something to the people of Earth to safeguard. Could what is happening here really be the same as in the movie? If you say no, then those handprints and footprints cannot be explained by weathering. Although science has not yet provided an answer, it will be figured out sooner or later. Earth has too many secrets beyond humanity's current understanding. We can only wait patiently. The above is a story based on ancient ruins. Please don't take it seriously. Thank you for watching.